Welcome to Drive Your Own Adventure with Benjamin Starr. With holiday parks and resorts across New South Wales and Queensland, find your dream destination with Ingenia Holidays.
Okay, we're driving our own adventure. Today we're in the Ingenia Harvey Bay Park, and when you go for a drive you can go so many different ways to get here, but Janice and Rex know this by the back of their hand. It's 2,240 kilometres from Victoria where you live. How are you?
We're well, thank you.
Good, thank you.
I tell you what, you've been coming here for over 15 years.
Well, look at the weather for a start compared to Victoria at the moment.
Yep.
We've made lifelong friends. And we do a lot of amazing things, don't we? Visit amazing places on the way up.
This is the third caravan we've owned. We hired caravans before that, and in between having those caravans, as well as we've had a camper trailer for a while where we visited places we couldn't really go with the caravan. So, yes, it's been a good and very enjoyable for us.
Is it a big investment to get into caravanning? Like, if people were listening today and they're thinking, I want to get into this, what's your advice? Because, I mean, I imagine, I look around at some of these wonderful caravans and you can say that's fabulous, and then you could probably buy it and go, I don't really like it. I want that one over there.
My advice to people, particularly these days, is caravanning or camper trailering is to hire.
Really?
Before you buy.
Hire before you buy.
There are many, many places to hire these days. And answering your other part of the question, yes, it is a fair investment, because if you buy a large van, then you've usually got to buy a bigger vehicle to pull it.
Which
Not
we have.
necessarily a truck.
Our truck is called the Beast for a very good reason.
Now, did you ever think about buying? Because when you drive up and down the coast here, there's so many of those new motorhomes driving around. Is that different to caravanning?
Very much so.
It is so.
You are locked in.
Yeah.
So it is. It's different, and probably you're a bit more restricted in. They're a fair investment.
Can I ask you about the friendships that you've formed in the times?
Long-term friendships have been very big, especially people that we have met here.
Yeah. To
the point that we lost a dear friend last year, and it devastated us as if we had lost a member of the family.
Wow. That's the power of it.
That's the power of it. And there's probably a nucleus of us who keep in contact during the year, including friends who come over from New Zealand every year for 6 months.
So what places have you visited in your time? What are some of the real highlights that you could say, you've got to go here?
We've gone from Wilson's Promontory to Cape York. So
southernmost point to the northernmost point, and we took water and stones from Wilson's Promontory and threw them in the water at Cape York.
Yes.
And then that was great. We met new friends on the way and travelled with them.
Yep.
And another year we went from Byron Bay, which is the easternmost point, and we took our bottle of water and our stones, and we went to the westernmost point of Australia, which is
Steep Point
in Western Australia, and we threw our stone in the water up there, and we travelled through Aboriginal territory.
Wow.
For many, many weeks, where we had to have 3 or 4 different permits to do it.
Oh, really?
And that was mind-blowing, that trip. That stands out. One of the best things we've ever done.
What was great about it?
The remoteness of it.
Yes.
Yeah, the isolation and also, I guess, to us, the planning of it was fairly important as well, because the fuels a major consideration as well as food, but probably more so the fuel and in planning that out.
Yes.
And you've got to do it with friends, so you've got backup.
Oh, you couldn't do it by yourself. No.
Because some days we'd be driving and Rex would say to me, how long is it since we have seen anybody? And we'd work it out. It would probably have been 3.5, 4 hours, and we'd probably travelled 300-odd kilometres.
Wow.
We hadn't seen a truck or a vehicle.
It's desolate, isn't it?
It's desolate.
You sort of wonder, we did an interview the other day with a family that, where their property is near the Atherton Tablelands, Burke and Wills went through there. I mean, when you think about it, those guys I think they did it because they didn't know what they were getting themselves into.
Exactly.
But
We've actually been to the cattle station where the dig tree is.
Right.
And that's very remote.
Yeah.
And we followed in Burke and Wills's
Footsteps.
for a couple of weeks.
And you suddenly realise that they just...
They were mad.
They were totally mad, weren't they?
They were, and I guess they were also very unlucky, like when
Yes.
you go to the dig tree and the history of it,
Yes.
that they missed their coordinates and they're catching up with the other party
24 hours.
by a day.
And then they were...
In the total amount that they travelled, it's just, it's tragic in one way, but I guess that's what makes history.
That's right. I mean, when you think about it, like I just drove all the way to Cairns recently, and I was saying to a friend of mine in Sydney, it's such different driving outside of a city. I said, I said, it's for me, it's a lot more tiring driving country drives because I said there's so much more to watch out for.
Absolutely.
And he was like, are you serious? I said, well, in the city you've got the luxury of lights, people walking around. There's always something happening. But I said, out on some of these roads, you could drive for hours. And those highways are pretty remote.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you've even got to factor in your fuel there going up there because,
That's why we have good radios.
Yeah, you've got radios on board?
Yeah, including...
Breaker. This is Janice.
I'm not in charge of the radios.
I could see Janice chatting up all the truck drivers driving past.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
The truck drivers aren't very happy with caravanners.
Oh, no, they don't. Why? Because you slow them down.
Yes, exactly. If there's a B-double coming, let him go because...
They just don't like it.
We won't see him again.
No. They just plough through, don't they?
And Rex usually talks to them anyway and converses with them and says to them, I'll let you know when it's safe to pass. And they're very grateful.
Tell me, in your times of travelling, what if you get not well? What if you're really sick and all that sort of stuff? I mean, healthcare and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting and it's a good question because this year the caravan that's just would normally be over my left shoulder here.
Yeah.
They come from South Australia.
Yep.
They got to
Roma.
Yes.
And the male part of the combination took ill and had to be flown to Brisbane.
Yep.
So there's your Royal Flying Doctor Service working for you.
Right, okay.
And his wife flew a commercial flight either that day or the following day.
Yes.
So
you got to factor that in.
That's worth factoring in, but of course with health you never know. But
I know.
Overall, we've been very fortunate, and we've also been, I think, fortunate in two ways. The health services do an incredible job.
Oh yeah.
To the point that we have a doctor here in town.
Okay.
That we go to if we need to.
Yes.
And we've got a dentist here. We try to organise ourselves. We're part of a very good medical group at home.
Yes.
So we have medical checkups before we
you
go.
Head off, yeah.
And when we go home.
When we go home. So
that's when we get our hands slapped because we've been too naughty when we're away.
Oh, right. Oh, Janice. I mean, you can't win. Doctors love to just pull it down a few notches, don't they?
Yeah.
I tell you. What would they tell you to do? What would you get into trouble for?
Not eating as much fish as what I have been.
Oh, right. You've got to eat more fish.
No, she eats
I eat too much fish while I'm away and not enough red meat.
Oh, really? Gosh. So that's the thing. I mean, these caravans now are so well decked out. I mean, you can literally, it's like a home away from home, isn't it?
Well, ours is.
Yeah.
Well, it's our home. When we drive in here, this is our winter home.
Yeah.
So,
and we try to bring everything along with us.
Yes.
To make it our winter home.
Yeah.
Like Rex brings his golf clubs and he plays golf.
Yes.
Quite a group of them every Tuesday afternoon.
That's lovely. Well, look, thank you very much for talking to us. It's been very insightful. I mean, what I'm scared of is going to one of those caravan camping and four-wheel drive shows and walking out with something that I didn't think I was going to buy. That's what normally happens.
That is a risk.
They all say that's what happens.
But our first caravan, it actually took us 2 years to decide on what we were going to go with.
Yep.
And we would arrive in Melbourne and we'd have 2 or 3 caravan manufacturers to go to.
Yeah.
Rex would have his overalls on and he'd have a blue poly tarp.
Yep.
And he'd go under the caravan with a torch.
Oh, would you?
And I'd be in the caravan with a torch,
Right.
inspecting everything within the caravan.
Yes.
And you don't accept second best.
Let's call it the average van these days seems to be getting around the 20-foot plus mark, and you probably would have to invest at least $50,000.
Oh, well, that's at least, yeah.
more.
Well, thank you very much for your time today. It's been really, really nice to talk
welcome.
to you both. Well, have a great time.
Thank you very much.
There you go. We've been driving our own adventure with Janice and Rex Drane. We're here in the Harvey Bay Ingenia Park. And I tell you what an insight to caravanning. I don't think I'm going to go out today and buy a caravan, but it's definitely on my radar.
Thanks for listening to Drive Your Own Adventure with Ingenia Holidays. With holiday parks and resorts across New South Wales and Queensland, Ingenia Holidays offers the ideal place for an extended break, weekend getaway or short stopover. Find your dream destination with Ingenia Holidays at www.ingeniaholidays.com.au.